Welcome to our very first session of the second day of MARUF25. We are really happy to be with you in here in this amazing golden horn, in this room of possibilities. Today we are with Marin with ICLEI, Tanya from Serbia Urban Forum, Norliza from Malaysia Urban Forum, Gerald from Urban Future, Tara from Beyond, Olga from Net Zero, Carlotta from, Police, and and Zeynep Hoca from ISOP 2025. They will all introduce themselves more detailed, but let me explain today's session. We will spend this session both introducing some of the world's urban events and getting to know each other through this networking session. My name is Ezgi Küçük Çalışkan. I am one of the program coordinators of Marmara Urban Forum, and I'm working at Marmara Municipalities Union, and I'm an urban planner. In the first half of today's session, each speaker will briefly introduce their events in 3 minutes, and in the last 30 minutes, I will pose some questions to our speakers, and then we will move on to your questions, if you have any, and if we have enough time, of course, and hope to have a good session. So we will be running all slides in a single deck. Just a gentle reminder that to keep within 3 minutes slot. We'll go counterclockwise. So after your 3 minutes are up, please pass the microphone to the next speaker, and we'll start by introducing yourself, of course. So where is the... okay. Sorry. Yes. It's a hard one. I have many items. Okay. Sometimes you try to be fast, but life. Okay. So let me start with Marmara Urban Forum. I will not introduce Marmara Urban Forum. We are in Marmara Urban Forum. But you know that since 2019, we start with Cities Developing Solutions, the motto of Cities Developing Solutions, and we continue with this motto. And in 2021, we continue with Rethink and Co-act call. Then we continue 2 years ago with Resilience and Beyond team. And today we are together with on the concept of on the shore of all possibilities. They are all based on the both local and global problems and potentials of our cities. So let our guests introduce their international events to us. Yes. Sorry.
No problem. Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. Merhaba. I'm working for ICLEI, so very happy to be here and introduce to you our flagship events. So for those of you who don't know ICLEI, we work with more than 2,500 local and regional governments, all committed to sustainable urban development. We are active in a lot of countries, 125, and I'm personally working for ICLEI Europe, so we have different regional offices. ICLEI Europe is one of them. We are the secretariat that covers Europe, Middle East and West Asia, so among which Turkey, which we're very proud of. And we have a lot of flagship events. I'm going to introduce briefly 3 of them to you. First, don't hesitate to scan the QR code if you want more information about the events. First, the European Urban Resilience Forum. So it's a pivotal European initiative in the field of resilience. We're really proud to organize it every year with the European Environment Agency. There has been already 12 editions. The previous one was in Rotterdam, Netherlands. It's an exchange platform for practitioners, all kind of level, to discuss initiatives, strategy related to disaster management, resilience, and so on. We counted 400 participants from more than 141 cities and 37 countries last year. So Where the next one will take place is not announced yet. It's always at an ICLEI member, but we will be really happy to see you there if you wish to join us. The next one is the European Conference on Sustainable Cities and Towns, which we call in short ESCT. This is a more high-level kind of event. It takes place every 3 or 4 years, every time marking a new milestone decided with the people who joined us. So the last one was in Aalborg in Denmark in 24. I brought with me the Aalborg Condition, which is the groundbreaking document which has been produced as part of the conference and which serves as framework for us in our work. So happy to show it to you. It's in a lot of different language on the website. Don't hesitate to check it. So as I mentioned, more high level, so we had 30 mayors and deputy mayors there, but a lot of practitioners from different countries as well. And finally, the Procura Plus conference. So as part of ICLEI, we have a sub-network specialized in procurement. So practitioners working in public procurement are joining forces, and the Procura Plus conference is their flagship event. It's a mix of plenary session, what they call deep dive session, which allows you to get insight from procurement leader, and market launch table, where you can exchange best practices with peers. Same, around 220 participants from 29 countries. I'm ending up with that to be on time. Don't hesitate to contact me. I'm working for the membership team and very happy to answer any question. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'm Tanja Obradović, and I'm from Serbia, and I'm working in Ministry of Construction, Transport and Infrastructure, like a chief urban planning of inspection, urban planning inspection in Serbia, and also. Sorry. Okay. And also, I am in a few really, how to say, important events in Serbia. In National Urban Forum, I am part of organizing committee, and I will represent this event today, and also the Conference of Urban Planning, which I am founder. In Serbia, every 2 years, we organize the National Urban Forum as a part of the preparation of the World Urban Forum. The main organizers are the Ministry of Construction, Transport and Infrastructure and the Special Planning Agency of the Republic of Serbia. The first National Urban Forum was held in Belgrade, the second in Niš, in city of Niš, while the third is planned for April next year in another Serbian city. The forum brings together representatives of local governments, experts, and international partners, and serves as a key platform for exchanging experience and ideas on sustainable urban development and the implementation of 2030 agenda. That is really brief for this urban forum, but I will show you now the conference, International Conference of Urban Planning. I'm the founder of the this international conference, which has been held 5 times since 2016 in Niš. The conference is organized by a non-governmental organization with support of the private sector and universities, mixed one. An international conference is recognized as a scientific and professional conference that brings together academia, practitioners, and young researchers in the fields of urbanism and sustainable development. After each conference, proceedings of scientific papers are published, the most recent from 2005. I bring that copy. And I would especially highlight that in this conference, last one, in cooperation with UN Habitat, we organized 2 important workshops one dedicated to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and the other one to the Quality of Life Initiative, that is a new initiative of UN Habitat. And both reviews from these workshops you can find in these proceedings. Please take a look after our dialogue, and also you have a flyer for include a QR code that provide access to detailed information about post-conference published proceedings and related activities. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum. Very good morning to everyone. My name is Nurliza. I'm from Urbanist Malaysia, a special entity under the Ministry of Housing and Local Government of Malaysia. So in Malaysia, probably we started our journey into the Urban Forum slightly different. We organized the World Urban Forum in 2018. So we were very fortunate to have a lot of people there, where we hosted almost 28,000 people that attended the World Urban Forum. And out of the 193 member states of UN, we had 162 countries participating, and more than 100 ministers attended the session. So one of the most interesting about the World Urban Forum in 2019 was it was the first World Urban Forum after we adopted both the SDGs and New Urban Agenda, which is 2015 and 2016. So in Kuala Lumpur, where we had the event, we had a Kuala Lumpur Declaration, which actually very much focused on the localization of these two documents. So following suit of that, we decided that it's how do we scale this nationally? So we had our first National Urban Forum. We call it the Malaysia Urban Forum in 2019. And since then, we have never, every year, we have our National Forum. So till today, this year, we have had 7 Malaysia Urban Forums. But I think one of the most important thing about urban forums that we learn is that how do we bring it not only at the national level, but also to connect to regional forums. So in 2019 also, we hosted the Asia Pacific Urban Forum, which we managed to do and bring about 8,000 people from the Asia Pacific region. And this year, as ASEAN Chair, we also hosted the ASEAN Urban Forum. Now, when you start to connect national forums and regional forums and as well as global forums, I think this is where the local learnings become more enriched. Even though our Malaysia Urban Forum does attract a lot of, close neighbors attending our events, but it's very important in the learnings, especially for our local participants to actually continue the journey of new stories to be shared and so forth. Now, the other thing that we did is Urbanist Malaysia hosted the National Urban Forum 3 years in a row, 2019, 2020, 2021. Now, in 2022, we decided to share this to all our other cities. So we started to bring other sub-national government as part of hosting the event. So in 2022, we went to Selangor. 2023, we went to Penang, and 2024, we went to Sarawak, and then 2024, we went to Penang. Now, the reason to do that is that we have to share what we are doing, and we want to have less dominance on this national program. We want more partners. And one of the most important thing in all our program is that we bring in the stakeholders assembly. So every event, we have 7 assembly group: women, youth, children, grassroots, business community, academia, as well as the professional groups. So I think the reason to do this is that as an organizer, we want to do less. We want our partners to actually do more. We want the state governments to do more, and we want our local governments to do more. So in every state that we go, we impose on legacy projects. We want them to commit to a program. And now at the ministry level, we are trying to monitor the progress of our partners, the progress of different states and cities that are doing that. And we are very, very happy. After we go into a certain sub-national level, a regional government, the city continues to do the program. Like we were in Sarawak in 2023, and what happened subsequently is last year they have their own state forum, Sarawak Forum. So from a national forum that they co-hosted with us, they now have their own local state forum. Similarly, in the state of Selangor, the city of Shah Alam was the host. They now have a Shah Alam forum. So I think this is where this a cycle of learning needs to continue, and I think that's our biggest learning from this whole process. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Can we change the slides? Yeah. Can we turn to the previous? Yeah. They are changing the PowerPoint. Gerald, just wait to change. This came later.
Well, good morning to everybody. I'm Gerald. I'm one of the co-founders of Urban Future. And I'm really, really happy to be here today because when I think back, Urban Future wasn't even supposed to be a conference in the first place. So I'm really happy that I can actually speak on behalf of Urban Future now. Because this is what you would probably describe as a perfect accident. Because what we wanted to do is we worked with the city, and out of the conversation with the city, they told us that wherever they looked, everybody was telling the city what they should be doing. But the what was not their problem, they said. The how is their biggest problem. So we came up with a very simple idea for them. We said, okay, so you want to change your, I think it was on charging infrastructure. So this is what you want to do in your city. Let's find similar cities to your city from the size and the challenge that already worked on it. And we invite their project managers who did that project, and we want them to talk only about everything that went wrong. So by design, we didn't want to have a best practice case, because these give you depressions, because you think everybody is bright and everything is smooth and everything is working great, and nobody is really telling the real story. So we wanted to get the real story, and so we started to organize that workshop for the city in Austria, and then the weirdest thing happened. This team, this mobility team from the city of Graz, is a city of like 300,000 in Austria, they started to tell peers about it. And we kept getting calls and emails from other cities in Austria, and then suddenly from Germany and from the Czech Republic and so on, until we said, okay, then let's make this workshop public, and we let people register, and we said, okay, it's not 10 people, maybe it's 40 people coming. And a month later, we had 150 registrations, and we were like, oh no, what are we going to do now? Now we need a room, and we need a program. And to keep, a long story short, 6 months later, it was 1,000 people from 33 countries coming together, talking about how not to transform cities and what mistakes to avoid. And we were totally swamped and surprised, but we knew we hit a nerve with some people. And we looked at who showed up. And that was really interesting. We saw people would come from any discipline. They would come from any type of organization. It was cities and governments, but it was businesses. It was research and NGOs, civil activist groups, small, large businesses, and so on. And most interestingly, people would come from any kind of hierarchy level. So we had mayors and CEOs, very important people, and people just doing on the street some sustainability projects. And we were like, there's like everybody. This is not really making any sense. And we did some interviews, and luckily, very early on, we found that there is actually a link to this group. And it's not their job, not their level of power and influence. It's really their mindset. They were people who wanted to drive the change. And that is really the core of Urban Future today. The people that are coming together share a passion. And when you share a passion and you talk about that passion and you exchange on that passion, it is very, very different conversations. And this is what Urban Future is all about.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Tara Salisbury, and I am the director and co-founder of the Beyond Conference. I'm also going to point out the other director and co-founder, Sam Michel, who's just there. It's very much a joint enterprise. We founded the conference 8 years ago, so we're in our 8th year. And I think picking up a bit on the themes that have already been spoken about, I think the interesting thing for us really has been to see it kind of a bit like a rolling stone, gather that moss and kind of grow its audience and its kind of influence. So a bit about Beyond. So our kind of core mission really is to bring together the creative industries around themes, usually place-based themes. And up until recently, we've been very much moving around the UK. And as somebody described us, a bit of a travelling circus. So as we've gone around the UK, we've kind of found more people. We've explored different themes that are kind of important to the creative industries. And that's the way that we've kind of organically grown our influence and our kind of place within the creative sector and the wider creative economy in the UK. We describe ourselves as a UK-based conference with global ambitions. And in no small part, thanks to the British Council, who are also the reason that we're here today, we've been able to do that. And I think what's been really exciting about that, particularly in terms of kind of urban forums and urban discussions, is that we've really found that a lot of the work that we've done really does go back to that kind of urban design, how we use kind of the ecosystems within urban spaces that support the creative sector and support the creative industries more broadly. So who are we? Well, we essentially, as I say, we're the Creative Industries Conference for the UK, and our audience is made up of researchers, it's made up of small businesses, it's made up of academics, and policymakers who all come together and use Beyond as a space to kind of explore not only and share their own work, but also to look forward to the future. So as you can see, those are the stats from last year. It was our biggest ever conference. It was based in Manchester. And for the first time ever, we are returning to the same city in a consecutive year, which is really exciting for us. I don't know how much anybody knows of Manchester, but in terms of the UK's kind of creative industries ecosystem, it's a big player. It's an exciting place to be. There's a lot of ambition, and there's a lot of kind of talent there. So essentially what we've done is we've kind of been invited to go back, and we're building on what we did last year, which, to be honest, is a really, really great privilege, because I'm sure, as anybody knows who moves a conference around, you spend a lot of time and energy building new partnerships, doing all the logistics. So to be able to go back has been really powerful for us. And one of the things that we really want to do this year is increase our youth participation. So we did our research and we found that most of our audience were 30 plus, and we want to make sure that we're talking to the next generation and listening with the next generation. So we have, as part of this year's program, we've started some new initiatives. We're doing an Emerging Innovators Award. So essentially we're asking our community to tell us about the next generation of talent, and we're showcasing them at the conference and beyond. And we're going to use the conference as an opportunity to find out what it is that they're thinking about, what support they need, what challenges they've got. So very much being in listening mode. We're going to do reverse mentoring, so bringing in very senior people, policymakers, people who make decisions, and getting them to listen to the young people about what's important to them. We open up the conference. We give away over 200 tickets to young people, people with access needs, people who wouldn't be able to necessarily afford to come to the conference. Again, because the creative sector, we need as much diversity as possible, and we want to be part of supporting that. And then finally, this year we are also breaking our own. We're also breaking our own previous traditions, and we're actually going to have more than just one theme. We're going to have 3 themes. So this year we've actually decided to look at the themes that we feel are most kind of influential in terms of the next iterations and changes within the creative sector. and those include the creator economy. So really looking at this incredible kind of booming sector, which for most people that we work with, and probably most people over the age of 30, is still a bit of a mystery. You know, who are these people who are making huge amounts of money and have huge amounts of influence, who are breaking all the traditional models? You know, let's kind of actually look at how they're working, how we can interact with them, what we can learn from them. We're also looking at Createch, so really looking at the kind of combination of creativity and technology and how that's influencing other sectors. And then most relevant for this audience, we're looking at innovation districts. This builds on our theme from last year, which was creative cities, and we're looking at kind of what are the ecosystems that you need to support a thriving creative economy. Obviously, you're all invited to come to Beyond. We'd love to see you there. You can find more information on the QR code, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 3-minute presentation is always a challenge. I was practicing this morning, not very successfully, so let's see how it goes. Maybe I'll forget half of the things that I wanted to share with you if you're lucky. But my name is Olga Krajewska, and I came here today to present to you the Net Zero Cities program, which is the biggest implementation program for the European Commission's initiative, which is the EU mission on climate neutral and smart cities by 2030. It is an incredibly ambitious project where we are trying to get over 100 European cities to climate neutrality by 2030, and we are working very closely in many innovative ways with those 100 cities, but we are also opening up our formats and the program to other European cities, and essentially using the group of the 100 as a lighthouse, pioneering cities to pave the way for the other cities to become climate neutral in Europe by 2050, which is basically a Europe-wide goal. And how we are working with the cities is basically mostly through tools and resources that we are offering to cities through capacity building formats and peer learning. And underneath each of these groups of services, we are offering different formats. So just to maybe showcase a few of them, we have, for instance, online discussion groups where we are bringing together the mission cities and the cities outside of the mission to discuss about concrete challenges, to tackle different thematic areas that are problematic or challenging for cities. And that cities that are part of this online discussion groups can then also apply for group study visits, so they can actually go to another city and spend a few days there, exchange with the urban team, etc. We have, for instance, also a twinning learning program that is open to all European cities, no matter the size. And then a city from outside of the mission will be paired up together with the city from the mission. So then you get a training program for approximately 1 year, where you can visit the mission city, and the people from the mission city are also coming to your city, when they can offer you guidance and basically experiment, establish a few pilot projects, etc. We have orientation sessions for cities on our online portal. Here you have the QR code on the slides, so I would very much welcome you to check out our portal, because all these opportunities are essentially listed there. The timing wasn't in our favor, unfortunately, because most of these programs, the registrations for the first or second editions closed last month. But it doesn't mean that we won't continue with those programs. So if you are working for cities, if you are interested and would like to connect with Net Zero Cities, I would definitely invite you to check out our portal, check out all these different possibilities, opportunities, and collaborate with us. I was thinking about unique selling points for Net Zero Cities, because there are a lot of urban initiatives out there. I would say that, first of all, it's a direct link and connection to European Commission. So because it's a European Commission's initiative, we are working very closely with the mission team from the European Commission side. and I think their input and their presence is very valuable for the entire program. We are also connecting, as mentioned before, cities from outside of the mission with the pioneering mission cities. So there is this knowledge exchange, capacity building opportunities that I think are very unique for this program. And you also get an access to a consortium of over 500 experts. So also whenever you're coming with concrete challenges, I think that we can pretty much, give you a guarantee that we can link you to the expert that can support you with your specific challenge. And just because as the mission and Net Zero Cities program, we are also organizing annual conferences. Last year's conference happened or took place in Vilnius, and this or next year's conference in 2026 will take place in Torino in Italy at the end of May. So yeah, follow our social media channels, our website, and the portal, of course, if you want to learn more about this. This is usually a space where different types of stakeholders, including European Commission, including mission cities from outside of the mission, are coming together and are working together on their strategies, but also concrete implementation, plans for the future. And I have some printouts with me, so if you are interested, I invite you to approach me after the session. I'll be very happy to give out some leaflets and information sheets. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Carlotta Inserra. I'm Membership and Communication Manager at Polis. For those of you who might not be familiar with Polis, we are a network of European cities and regions working on sustainable mobility innovation, while also advocating for a greater role of local and regional authorities in national and international mobility policy. So I'm very happy to be here and introduce you to our main event, which is the annual Polis conference. It happens every year, usually the last third week of November. And it is the leading sustainable urban mobility event, which really provides an opportunity for cities and regions and other stakeholders to showcase their transport innovations to a large audience of mobility experts, practitioners, and decision makers from both the private and the public sector. This year, we're really excited to be going to Utrecht, who is our current Polis president. And especially after a record-breaking edition in 2024 of over 1,000 participants, we expect many more this year as well. And of course, we would be very happy to have you. So what you can expect from the Polis conference, we have, first and foremost, networking opportunities. I think this is what we really pride ourselves most on. It's an event where many people can go and talk in person. We really value the in-person element of the conference to have the transport innovation professionals to engage with one another, as well as private and public sector entities. The second part is high-profile speakers. We have a very packed program across 2 days. We have 30 breakout sessions happening, as well as an opening and closing plenary with speakers from such as ministers, deputy mayors, and European commissioners, but also thought leaders from the transport sector. So it's always very inspiring to have these speakers with us. The third aspect is the focus on sustainable transport. We've heard so many great events here, but the one thing that Polis really focuses on is transport innovation and sustainable mobility. And with our conference, we want to put that focus on that. And last but not least, indeed, the rich and varied program that I mentioned. So who attends our conference? So indeed, we are a European-based network, and our cities and regions are from Europe. But we're really excited to say that we have many participants joining from many different countries, also beyond Europe. And in terms of satisfaction breakdown, we've had no complaints so far. And one thing that I'm also really proud of is the fact that 2 out of 5 participants are women. Some of you might not be familiar with this, but the transport sector is indeed very male-focused, unfortunately. So we're really happy to see that more and more women are participating to our conference and also being present in the transport sector. And in terms of what organizations are present at Polis, we're present at the last Polis conference. We have, of course, cities and regions, as that is our network, but as well as researchers, consultants, national and international associations, and so forth. So that's pretty much it. This is the QR code if you want to scan it to learn more about the conference and how to register. We'll be very excited to have you there in Utrecht. And thank you so much.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Zeynep Endil, the Professor of Urban Planning from Yıldız Technical University in Istanbul. And thank you very much for inviting me to this very exciting dialogue between colleagues that are very much related to our field, of course. I'm here to share with you the experience of the ESOP congresses. It's actually from a different field of planning education rather than the professionals and so on, but which makes the basis of the future professionals, of course. So I had the honor of chairing the 2025 Congress of ESOP, which was held by Yıldız Technical University in Istanbul. Let me give you a little information about ESOP, what it is, for those of you who are not familiar with it. ESOP is the Association of European Schools of Planning. I don't know why I have a problem. Oh, that one. Thank you so much. Okay. It's the Association of European Schools of Planning, which has about 150 members from Europe. It is an association which unites planning schools and plays a leading role in the field of planning education, of course, and setting the qualifications of future professionals, and also discussing the planning agenda of the current problems and so on. So it actively promotes this agenda among professionals, among politicians and other stakeholders involved in spatial planning and urban development. And it has a number of events that aim to enhance planning education and research, but the flagship event is the annual Congress, of course, and it is held by one of the member schools each year in a different country, in a different city. And it's one of the most prominent, meetings on special planning worldwide. It's a very acknowledged congress, and attracts a large number of participants from not only Europe, but also beyond. For instance, our congress last year was in Paris, with over 1,000 participants. In Istanbul, we attracted about 1,300. There were actually more, 2,000 applicants, but we were not able to accommodate such a big congress with the university facilities, so we had to, of course, observe some quality. So it is an important congress for the academics and planning education in the field of urban planning. Besides the Congress, ESOP also has another major activity, which is the Young Academics PhD Workshop, which is held in conjunction with the Congress each year. It is sometimes organized by the same organization which organizes the Congress, but sometimes it's a different university that takes the responsibility, and there is a shared work there. But this year, in 2025, Yıldız Technical University organized both the workshop and the Congress itself. ESOP is a member of a larger network of planning educators, which is called GPEN, Global Planning Education Associations Network. So during our conferences, we have also networking events with other association representatives attending the Congress. And also there is a special MOU with American Collegiate Schools of Planning, so there are networking events with those organizations. And the ESOP congresses are held each year, but every 5 years, GPN has its own World Planning Schools Congress. And when there is this World Planning Schools Congress, ESOP does not have its own Congress, but contributes and participates in the GPN Congress. So the next Congress is in Helsinki, which will be the GPN Congress, World Planning Schools Congress, and ESOP will be there together with other of course, planning associations like the Turkish Planning Schools Association. We will all be attending that Congress. Just to briefly give information about the title of the Congress, each year ESOP wants to tackle important challenges within the planning agenda. So therefore, this year's planning, the Congress theme was Planning as a Transformative Action in an Age of Planetary Crisis, and the PhD workshop had a similar title as well. The congresses are, ESOP congresses are organized around thematic tracks, which are related to the working groups within ESOP. They not exactly correspond, but sometimes we have different themes which does not correspond to a working group. But these are the titles of the tracks. And of course, besides the tracks, we also accept special sessions and roundtable proposals, and there were also quite many of them this year. And we had, as I said, 1,300 participants from Europe and beyond, and Italians are the first, and followed by Chinese. It's always, I mean, in the last years, that's the sort of the pattern. And we had participants from 61 different countries. So, I mean, as in every scientific congress, we have prominent keynote speakers, and this year's we had also, again, these keynote speakers who gave prominent insights about climate change and social sustainability and so on. And our the closing session was actually where we had to wrap up with a lot of questions and provocative ideas of the Congress. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much for all the presentations. This 3-minute challenge is not for only us, but also at this parallel session, PhD students are trying to present their thesis in 3 minutes now, so it's a challenging morning. But yardımınıza ihtiyacım olacak. I need help of our volunteers in this part. Mikrofonu el kaldıranlara vereceğiz birazdan konuşmacılardan. Okay. Now, we don't need pointer. Yes, okay. We can just skip it. Okay. Now to spark the conversation, I'd like to begin with some questions. I will take response from maximum 3 speakers before moving on to the next question. So actually, I give up this talking object I wrote to you in mail because it's so hard in here. So if you need to answer any of the questions, just raise it, and Kemal will give you the microphone. So I invite you to share a short story of an aha or awareness moment with this international urban events. We, in a way, bring together the urban agenda within the space we open, and then we put it back to the circulation. And what I'm curious about is that through your events, what have you truly changed or witnessed changing or transforming? Would you like to share a story of from your experiences? Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a hard one. Actually, I was planning to open a real circle, but no.
Maybe one example that I can share is that at the Urban Future event, a core session, and please excuse the language, is the so-called fuck-up night, which is a session where a politician talks about major disasters they had been part of. And we have been in Oslo 2019, and the then deputy mayor, she talked about the introduction of their car-free city center. And one of her key messages to other politicians or other people in the room basically was, whenever you want to do a car-free city center, you can do many mistakes, but never ever call it car-free city center. And that's because that frames the conversation towards yes or no cars. And it was really interesting that 2 years ago we had the deputy mayor of Paris being part of the conference, and he talked to me and said, listen, I can still remember the event in Oslo, because what that lady, he couldn't remember the name anymore, but what she told us was really the core of how we now introduced the School Street program. We didn't call it Get the Cars Off the Streets program, but we got Making 300 Streets Safe for Children program, which is a very different perspective. And that, with that kind of information and sharing often very personal insights into why projects work or don't work, this is extremely valuable to others, and we have no idea where this is being replicated, but every now and then we hear these stories.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay.
I can maybe just very briefly share. I think we are very blessed in the case of Net Zero Cities program because it's an ongoing thing. So we actually get to meet at those annual conferences and observe the whole process that is happening in cities. And we are working with a concept of climate city contracts, and it's essentially a big strategy and a holistic strategy for the entire city to decarbonize until 2030. So as you can imagine, it's a massive job. And I think what's pretty unique for those plans is that we also try to put the price on the whole decarbonization process. So basically what cities did, they calculated, how much money they will need to invest and from what sources to become climate neutral by 2030. So I think our aha moments during those conferences are to basically observe how cities are progressing with their plans and how the implementation, is going and how they create partnerships with different types of stakeholders. So I think it's a really privileged position also, as a person working in the urban space to be able to witness this entire process. But I only wanted to mention that I think no matter how well you design different sessions and invite high-level speakers and so high-level speakers. This is always fantastic. I think at the end of the day, these meaningful moments of connections over coffee breaks, during site visits, when people actually find a space with common challenges where they can discuss it in a secure space. That's why I think a fuck-up session is a wonderful idea. And if we could think of more ways of replicating this sort of safe spaces, I think we can be really, really successful, across those conferences. Thank you.
Yeah, you can answer, and also you can answer, no problem.
I wanted to share with you a very provocative idea that was raised by Eric Swingado. For those of you who know him, would know that he is a very provocative and very, exciting speaker who excites the audience, actually. Well, anyway, he went through these papers that were presented to the Congress by teams and so on, and he realized that there were so many talking about public participation. And he said, stop talking about public participation. No public participation anymore. Talk about something else. Think about something else. Those people are the ones who are choosing these governments that we are now in trouble with, with this authoritarianism going on, these trends going on all over the world. So that was very shocking. I mean, not shocking, of course, we all knew about it, but bringing it out in such a bold way was very, not aha moment, but
yes, a different.
In a way, yes, aha, you're right moment, So that was a memorable moment, and he's also, I mean, this is not, of course, to undervalue the value of public participation. participation. Of course, as planners, we have to do that, but it brings it opens up a nice vision. And also, he said, talk about equality. We are talking about justice all the time. Yes, justice is important, but it's difficult to. The content is, I don't know how to express it now, but it's not only about justice, it's about equality. So think about equality and and also the message is, of course, planning is not a technical, it's the old argument. It's not only about techniques, it's politics, let's face it.
Thank you.
So that was the important point.
Last one. And then next question.
I will be very short. If you do something for the first time, that is the biggest change, I think. And we did a change because we started the International Conference of Urban Planning together with faculty, and that is the first faculty's urban conference in Niš. And that is for sure one big change. Second big change I will share with you because we connect faculty with another sectors, with academia, with private sectors, and we mixed not bring just the scientific conference, or also scientific and private sector and government. And in the year we improved that conference, and for sure after 5 of them we include also the cooperation, how international cooperation and UN Habitat as a really strong association.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all this inspiring answers. Now, my second question, let's get deep dive, okay. Was there ever a challenging moment? I know there are many challenging moments, but was there a challenging moment in your events when unexpected support come just on time to help you through? I mean, millions of memories may come to mind, but let's hear only the very first one that awakens you, a challenging moment, and then a surprising support came, and everything now is solved. Okay.
Actually, I was looking at the cat.
Yes. Now
we have a new member in the room now.
He's on the side.
Yeah, I think you can smell all of us. Yeah. Okay. I mean, not only surprise moments. I think when you've done a forum for a long time, especially for us, we've done 7 sessions. We wanted to make sure that how can we reach out to laymen, to normal people on the ground. So we've been having events like in a hall, like a nice convention center like this. And we realize that a lot of people that come are people who already are agreeing to all these issues, We are like-minded people. We know the issues. We conquer the challenges, So one of the things that we challenged ourselves was, are we willing to go to the street and bring the discussion to the, to everyone, So in Penang, we did that. It's a small city enough. So we actually had our event on a park. And we also challenged ourselves to bring all the restaurant owners around the park to share us and make their restaurants as our discussion rooms, Well, it was very challenging. Some of them didn't have enough space, but it was amazing. It was amazing because, one, the conversation was very alive. It was totally, anyone was walking in. Everyone was just walking in. An old man, an elderly woman, or a child. People who have never heard about what an urban forum is, So we didn't expect that at all. We didn't expect the restaurant owners to actually willing to open their doors, and not have business for a day, and just have and allow those conversations to happen in their space. And it was an amazing 2 days that we had there. And we also had a session where we allowed the children to explore the city and wanted to understand whether they feel safe in the city. So, of course, parents were very, and I mean, in Malaysia, parents are becoming more careful about allowing their children to walk alone because of a lot of issues that we have in our city. So it was also very challenging to allow that whole process to happen, even though we had a lot of volunteers, guardians, and people. But we also were very nervous as to how it will turn out. But we had real inputs from children to say that what areas they are scared of, is the back alley safe enough, which areas they feel comfortable in. So, and they were drawing. We gave them stickers. We gave them drawing pads, to just allow them to share their feelings with us. If they are happy, they give a green tag. If they are feeling very nervous, they give an orange tag. So I think the whole process was quite amazing. And I think why we did that was because Malaysia do not have a lot of big cities. We have smaller cities. So we want the conversation to happen in smaller cities to actually be willing to host such kind of urban forums, And I think when we challenge ourselves to do that, we were surprised as to, for example, there was a program run by a partner on digital literacy for the elderly. I thought no one would come for the session. But it was amazing, the crowd that came. And it was a very simple discussion about, do you know how to, do you have a smartphone, And we realized that not many of the elderly people had actually smartphones. They might just own an old Nokia phone. So we're talking about digitalization, technology, innovation, but we must understand that, this is a very Malaysian context, but it is something that we have to deal with as policy makers, as urban designers, to understand that, cities are also still having those gaps, and we need to fix that. The challenge for us was really going to the ground. We didn't know what to expect. There was no air conditioning in any of the rooms, so everyone was like, wow, we had to give fans to them, self-fan themselves, So I think that was something that was something that we did. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other responses?
You want to try?
Yeah. So, Olga? Yeah. You have? Okay.
Yes, maybe not to one specific situation, but I think it happened, to all of us at some point, that we had some sort of challenges or something went not exactly as planned. I think it's very typical for these type of big conferences and events that you're trying really to do your best to map out all the possible risks and address them in advance and so on. But, the technology is technology. Yeah. It lives in its own way, so you can't control these things. So I think the only thing I wanted to share is it's incredible to observe how resourceful actually people are. We had situations where the mic was not working or the interpreter didn't get to the session on time, and people were actually self-organizing to provide support, to the participants that needed it, either with translations or, I don't know, with access to slides and so on, when it was just shown from a laptop. So I think at this moment you also realize that even sometimes maybe it's even nice when things do not go exactly as planned, because then you create, at least for the time of one session, this feeling of community that we need to make it work collectively, and we are in this room, together for better or for worse, and we can tackle all the challenges, be technical, together. So I think that's always nice, to see.
Yeah, thank you. The same. Any other responses, or shall we turn to our audience? Okay. Hello there. Do you have any questions to our speakers. If you don't have, you can ask questions to our participants. Yes, because this is a networking session. Yeah. Please.
Thank you. Hello. And I would like to thank all of you firstly for your beautiful speeches, and I feel very honored to getting to know your actions, all of the beautiful things you did for your cities and our environment. Thank you so much for that. So I know that it's an international problem, not only for my city, but the problem is we gather, we discuss, we organize debates, we make conferences, we do everything for our cities, for our public and everything. But we come to a place that we are now stuck. So we share our ideas, we try to make changes, but once we are stuck, I feel like nobody takes us serious to make them into real actions. So my question for you is, what and how was your process on turning your ideas and discussions into real actions for your cities and your lives, to be honest?
Who wants to? Yeah, Tara. Have to your this events and
yes.
processes are turned into the action, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, real
yes.
actions. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Thank you for a question. That is a really challenge for everybody, I think. In my point of view, I will say I am Chief Urban Planner of a ministry, and I think that I will left that position and be in practice or be in NGO, but I am still in government only in one reason, for action. That is my answer for all of us. Because everybody goes or in the private sector or in academia. I'm also PhD, I finished my PhD, and I can go to academia. But with academia, you can't, in Serbia, make a big changes. And what I am trying now, trying to stay in the government, in the ministry, bringing all new initiatives like UN Habitat support from ministry for all, but mixed all together and bring a huge change. And everybody who recognize that they with me and with a really small team, I think, we're going forward and make changes. Yes. For me personally, I will be in academia.
Yeah.
Just want to add very quickly. I think when we talk about making sure that every forum has some kind of action, I think firstly for us we ensure that we have the right stakeholders in the room. I think that's very important because the actions are not to be done by the organizers alone or the founders. It's by them. The whole event is for them, by them. In our case, it's always like that. We don't want it to be our event, and it's also not an event for us. It's a program. And I always remind everyone that comes to the forum, this is not an event. We don't just meet and then you go home and we forget about it. It's a whole program where you're meant to translate it. So every stakeholders, every partners that we bring in, we actually spend a lot of time pre-engaging. And I think that is very crucial, pre-engaging our partners to understand what is it that actually they want out of our forum. Not the other way around also, So it's a two-way relationship. So we do find that some of our partners are doing very well. They've scaled it down, But on ourselves, on our own organization, one, we are a center of excellence under the ministry, so we do need to do monitoring also on our own. Secondly, we pilot programs our own. So some of the ideas that come out of the forum, we actually implement them as an organizer. So we pilot them and try to see whether it works. And we bring some of those people that were in the forum that came out with the idea, to actually be part of the whole discussion. So yeah, I think it all depends on what you want to achieve from the very beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Zeynep Hocam? Okay. Tara.
Great question. I think I understand your frustration, and I totally get where that comes from. I think, to pick to your point, I think, our role is very much about that convening of people together, and it is about that idea that, without that convening, that maybe there are plenty of kind of things that wouldn't happen because people would stay in their silos, they would stay in their offices, they wouldn't get out, they wouldn't talk to potentially the people who, their policies are going to influence. So I think what we try and do, and I'm sure it's the same for everyone here, is we listen, we iterate, we innovate, we make sure that whatever we're doing continues to support an ecosystem, and then we just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. But I think ultimately, what we do is to bring them together, get those discussions, and hopefully, and certainly in the research that we do to follow up in terms of the impact of what the kind of our conference and our kind of wider programs is really just kind of look at new ways that we can just prod things forward, and just essentially hope that we can be part of a solution and part of a kind of positive action in the future.
So, okay, if you want to
well,
answer.
I've maybe one more thing. I can absolutely see the frustration, because when you look at the challenges that are here right now, they're so big that it's very difficult to see, okay, how can we handle that? How can we solve those challenges? And I think what we really try is to give people the courage to take the first step in taking action themselves. Because you never know where an action will lead to. It might remain something small, and it might touch a few people, but it might also scale, and it might touch thousands or millions of people at the time, which you don't know when you're starting. But getting this first step into taking action in something in the right direction, I think is the most crucial part.
So, thank you. I think time is up, but if any of you have a question to the audience, I just want to give the microphone to you, if you have. Okay, Mariam? Okay, are you ready? The questions.
Actually, I'm just getting inspired by the question we got, and I want to ask you all, because of course our events are very different and at the same time very similar, always bringing a platform for people to meet or learn. Is there anyone in the audience that has some idea on how to make it more efficient for you to bring something home, for you to take an action following the event? That's a big question as well. I'm sorry. You ask a big one, I ask a big one. But yeah, we're eager to hear from you.
It's a real question for us.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank all the speakers for informing us about their events. So I work in a municipality, Ataşehir municipality in Istanbul. From my side, for example, I would consider becoming a member to the ICL-EI. I just checked the membership conditions. So I think that would make a difference in my district. And also we applied for the twinning program of net zero cities. Later on, I would like to discuss also with the representative. So I would just like to support your, answers from a local government perspective. These meetings, networkings, they reflect to our districts later on. I mean, these would become actions later on with projects, through projects or other things. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other opinion you'd like to share? How to get more effective?
Just to echo, thanks, really inspiring. I think for me, the the best thing that can come out of these kind of events is when you have really key legacy materials. So I think it's always really, because that's how you can share it smoothly with colleagues who weren't able to join you, because I think so many of us attend these conferences as the one person from your institution or from your municipality, and so I think that for us that's always got to be the big thing, is like, how do you take back that excitement? Obviously that's on you to take those notes, make those contacts, but I think it's amazing to see how much coverage that there is at MARUF. I'm really excited to kind of share different things with people around my institution, but I think it's that ease of sharing, that way of getting us all to be able to really become the advocates for what's happened in this place back when you're with all your colleagues is the most important thing.
Yeah, thank you. There is no more comment. Yeah, one last comment, okay.
Merhaba hocam. Hello, we are from Maltepe University, three of us, and we are academicians there. So we are making some workshops and programs with municipalities. We did with Ataşehir, in fact. I don't know if we have met there, but we have also made some workshop with Maltepe municipality, and it was very nice for us to also share these issues with students and also with the municipalities. So we are trying to do workshops about urban design and how to integrate urban design with a participative process. Also, we are talking with the citizens, and we are trying to involve the students together with the citizens, and we let them talk to them and try to teach them how to be participative, in fact, in a urban design process. Okay, so it was like that. I mean, I just want to add that. And maybe the participation process can be inclusive together with the universities, municipalities, all the actors together. And it's just, it's a small way for us to, how can I say, trying to make them come true. Yeah, sometimes. It's very difficult, as you know, and it's all that I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Okay, now, of course, Tanya. Okay.
I just say because of municipalities of view, because I'm related and localization to the municipalities in my daily job, and also with my activism for the conference, that really is day after conference is a really big for you, because day after we are going to our daily jobs, municipality going to the really hard jobs, and I think that the message will be we must trying day after, when we motivated from the conference and networking, to doing something after that day, and please do in that day, not delay.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all your contributions today. Now we are, we have some coffee and tea outside, and then after the session, Gerald will be on the stage about changing. Yeah, you can also come and join the session, or just visit the other events of MARUF. Thank you very much for all your participation. Thank you.